Hey everyone, I'm Hannah and welcome to Hannah Banana Reads. Whoop. Don't got it. So, you might be thinking to yourself, didn't she just post this video about City of Bones like 2 days ago? Yes, I did. I read City of Ashes in a day, okay? I read it in a day. I took a day off in between to do some schoolwork because that's still a thing. I still gotta do schoolwork. So I took a day off in between finishing the City of Bones to do some schoolwork, and then I just woke up yesterday and I was like, I'm just gonna start City of Ashes. We're just gonna read a little bit and then I'm gonna like go do some other things. I don't know. I'm just gonna read a little bit today, and I ended up reading the whole thing. I read all of it. I started it yesterday morning and I finished it last night. So let's break it down. Let's talk about this book a little bit, because I mean, if I got through it in a day, clearly I couldn't put it down. So I got some things to say. Okay, we'll start non-spoilery. We'll start with just a little bit about City of Ashes, about the world of the Mortal Instruments. So City of Ashes is book 2 in the Mortal Instruments series, comes right after City of Bones, right before City of Glass. This is lovely Clary on the cover, as well as the city. These covers are beautiful. I know that they got new covers, but when I originally bought these books, I got the original covers from Half Price Books, and they only had the first 3. But then I am one of those people who needs all of the covers to match because they're prettier if they all match. And so I went to great lengths to get the rest of the series in the original covers. They are not here yet. They will be here hopefully soon, because I know I'm gonna finish City of Glass soon and I need the rest of the series to show up at my house soon. So anyway, original covers, beautiful Clary, beautiful city. I just love the original covers. Sorry, cover rant over. They're really pretty. Anyway, we'll start non-spoilery. So we are back in the world of the Shadow Hunters. This is going to be non-spoilery for City of Ashes, but there's going to be some spoilers for City of Bones. So if you have read that, you can listen to the non-spoilery section of this, but if you haven't, you are warned that I might spoil some stuff for City of Bones. So, warning over. Hopefully you clicked off if you don't want to know anything, but here we go. Okay, so basically we start this one. Clary and Jace aren't talking. It's fine. It's fine, my little fangirl heart. It's fine. I couldn't take it, guys. It was hard on me. So non-spoilery for City of Ashes, we start. Clary is with Simon. They're chilling. Jace is at the Institute, but he doesn't really feel at home there. He's with Alec and Isabel. That's really all I can say for the non-spoilery section. This book gets started quickly because it's the second book in the series. You are just thrown right back into the world. Stuff starts going down. So that's all I can say for the non-spoilery section. If you want more of a non-spoilery description of this series, go over and watch my book talk for City of Bones, which I will put in the iCard because I'm cool and techie like that, and I'm gonna figure out how to do it. So yeah, click the iCard to go to the City of Bones book talk if you want more of an overall general idea of what to expect from the Mortal Instruments series. But if you're here for my spoilery thoughts about City of Ashes, well then you're in the right place, and we're gonna start those right now. Okay, so I will try to go through it in a decently chronological order, but that probably won't happen. Just FYI, I'm probably gonna jump around. One thought's gonna lead to another thought. I'm just gonna be like catching thoughts and giving them to you. That's just what's gonna happen because I have thoughts. A lot of them just pop into my head at random times. First thought is I don't like Simon, and I don't know if that's controversial or not. I haven't watched book talks on this series yet because I wait to watch it till after I have made my own. So I didn't watch any City of Bones ones until I had made mine, and then I watched them to see other people's thoughts on City of Bones, and we pretty much agreed on everything, but I'm not sure with this one because I really don't like Simon until the very, very end. So I don't know if that's controversial or not, but if it is, here's why I don't like Simon. I think he decided that because Clary is nice to him, he can do whatever he wants. And I didn't like that because he knows that Clary likes Jace. But he has this notion in his head that he deserves her, and that because her and Jace are siblings and they can't be together, he automatically wins. So Simon thinks that he just automatically wins Clary because she can't be with Jace, not really respecting her emotions and realizing that, like, that's going through her head, while at the same time her heart's like, but you're in love with him. And so her head and her heart aren't agreeing, and Simon takes advantage of that. And I don't like it. I don't like that he just kisses her in the kitchen, and because she doesn't, like, push him away, he considers that, like, oh, she's cool with it, we're dating now. And then they never talk about, like, do you want to go out? No, he just, like, says, oh, it'll be nice to have someone to, like, watch my girlfriend when I'm not here. I'm like, you're what? Like, you kissed once. And then Clary just goes along with it because she doesn't want to hurt Simon's feelings. Half of this book, I'm gonna rename this City of Clary Doesn't Want to Hurt Simon's Feelings, because that annoyed me to no end. You know what? City of Simon has not good timing, and Clary doesn't want to hurt his feelings. That's the new title. That's what I'm calling this from now on. Because I got so annoyed every time Simon opened his mouth. So annoyed. And I probably have people getting so mad at me in the comments right now. Please don't hate me. I promise I have popular opinions too. But I really did not appreciate Simon. I do feel for him. I feel for him. I am sorry that she doesn't love you that way. I don't think you should push it on her though. When he becomes a vampire though, see, I'm jumping around. We're just gonna jump to the vampire thing. When Simon becomes a vampire, I was terrified because I was like, oh shoot, what's gonna happen now? Like, this is gonna cause some emotional damage to Clary, and I did not want her to feel like it was her fault, and of course she felt like it was her fault, but like, she puts all of these things on herself that are not her fault because Simon makes everything seem like it's her fault. Like, because she can't love him the way that he wants her to, then he ends up acting rashly, getting himself in trouble multiple times, and then Clary feels like that's on her because, yeah, like, he acted out because of her, but like, that's on him. But like, poor Clary has to deal with this emotional baggage, and I love her to death, and I don't like that she feels like everything's her fault. But Simon being a vampire was a really interesting plot point, especially at the end when they're like, oh shoot, like, Simon gonna die, he and the sun, he out of here, like, no more Simon, like, gotta say your goodbyes. And then he's fine. He's just chilling in the sun, not dying. And I'm like, what? Wait, what happened? What do you mean he's fine? And I didn't want him to die because I don't like him, but I don't want him dead. I just don't want him with Clary, and I don't like the effect he has on Clary. So I don't want him dead. I just want him to move on. Anyway, that and the other near-death experience where he got his throat slit and lived. I'm sorry, you what? Like, I understand that he's already dead. So Simon's dead, but because he's a vampire, he's undead, which, okay, that completely makes sense to me. But the vampires can get their throats slit and live as long as they get more blood within enough time, because Jace said his blood was completely drained from his throat and his wrists. And then he blinks. I'm like, what? Where did that come from? Simon's just alive again. And then I think I could be wrong, this is my theory, I think that something about Jace's blood is what makes Simon able to live in the sunlight, because Shadowhunters don't give their blood to vampires, like that, they don't do that, like that's not how it works. Shadowhunters are very pompous, I'm gonna stay away from downworlders unless I'm like needing to attack one. So I think that something about like a vampire having like ingested Shadowhunter blood gives some like benefits to the vampire community. I don't know. That's just the only logical explanation I can come up with right now. So that's my thoughts on that. I'm gonna finish up talking about Simon because I've been ranting about him for way too long. So let me finish up my thoughts on Simon with I am proud of him for breaking up with Clary, because he knew that she was in love with Jace. He knew that she would never love him the way he wanted her to and the way that he deserves to be loved, because he does deserve to find someone who loves him the way that he loves them. Like, he deserves that mutual love. And so I'm glad that he broke things off. So I'm proud of Simon for that. I think that now that that's not really like a thing anymore, like that him and Clary aren't going to be in that awkward Simon likes Clary, poor Clary goes along with it kind of thing. Like, now that they're not in that anymore, I hope that I like Simon more in City of Glass. So those are my thoughts on Simon. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Jace plotline with Jace and Maris and Valentine and the Inquisitor and all of the people that got wrapped up into that, which is basically everyone. So let's just go through that. I felt for Jace. His family has literally been ripped out from under him. Everything he ever knew was a lie. He thought his mom was dead. She's not. He thought his dad was dead. He's not. He thought he was an only child. He's not. Everything has been ripped away from him except the Lightwoods, except Alec and Isabel and their parents, and then their parents come home to the Institute, and Maris just looks at Jace like she's never seen him before, and just starts acting completely different, basically turns on him, makes Alec and Isabel leave, pulls Jace into the library, and is like, traitor, how long have you known? Like, how long have you been deceiving us? And the poor kid, he's not deceiving them, and he's just there like trying to like vie for this one thing that he still has left. Like at the end of City of Bones, when Clary was telling him like Valentine is not your family, like the Lightwoods are your family, they're the ones who have raised you for the past 7 years, like they care about you, and for that to just be taken away from him, like that was awful. Like, expecting for your motherly figure to come home and wrap you up in a hug and tell you everything's gonna be okay, but instead of that, you get her coming home and like basically slapping you across the face and making you leave. Like, that was awful. And so I understand that he was in a rage. I don't like that he went out and targeted some werewolves, because Jace has a death wish. When he is angry or sad, he just needs to punch things, and I feel bad for him. I feel bad for the people that get in his way when he is on his anger, sadness raids, because they don't deserve to get beat up by the best shadow hunter of his age, but he needs to get out anger. I'm not justifying anything that he does in that bar scene, but I'm just saying I feel for him. When they call Clary to the bar and Luke's like, hey, we found Jace, like, you need to come down here. I was like, oh dang, like, what's gonna happen here? Because like there's so much tension between them this entire book, and I could not take it because I kept just waiting. I was like, okay, they're gonna need to talk about it. They just need to talk about it. They haven't talked about it. And then when they finally talk about it, that pushes Jace over the edge to go to Valentine, because they talk about it, and Clary, bless her soul, is thinking about what everyone else is gonna think instead of just acknowledging what she feels. And I completely understand, like, the situation with Clary and Jace is super awkward and something that no one should ever have to deal with, something that they've never dealt with, like, and poor Jace is just like giving her his heart, like, look, I know that it's weird, but like, it doesn't matter. Like, we weren't raised to be siblings. Like, I love you, and I know that you feel something for me. Like, I've never felt the way that I feel around you before. Like, I don't have that with anyone else. Like, you, it's like, I feel that for you. And Clary's just not acknowledging that. She's like, we can't. And he's just like, why? And she's like, because of everyone else. Like, what would everyone else think? And that's what she's always so focused on, is what everyone else is gonna think. And it just makes me so sad, because they both deserve so much happiness. But then, like, that moment of, like, Clary kind of finalizing, like, at least in Jace's mind, like, finalizing, like, this is something that can't happen no matter how we feel. Like, that kind of, like, drives him to think he has no one left. And when he goes to Valentine's ship, I was terrified that he was gonna stay there. I was like, what are you doing at the ship? Like, what? Like, why did you go there? And then he asks the Fairy Queen's question, and I'm like, okay, like, maybe he really does want to stay loyal to everyone, and he did. He did. Valentine asks him to join him, and Jace, we don't get to hear his answer. And I was terrified. I was like, no, he better turn him down. Like, Jace would not accept. Like, I hoped that he wasn't in, like, too much of a frenzied state of mind, because I was scared, like, what if he's not thinking straight right now and he accepts because he wants to save everyone? Like, what if in his mind this is the only way to protect what he has left of a family? But he doesn't. And then when Alec turns on him, I was so mad. I was screaming. I was basically acting the same way Isabel acted towards Alec. I was mad beyond belief. I was like, what are you doing? And then they put Jace in that prison, and then Alec comes in, and he's like, I would never turn on you. Like, I had to do that so they would trust me, so that I could get you out of here. And that was a solid moment. I loved it. That was beautiful. That was glorious. that was so good. And Jace realizing he has, like, super monkey jumping powers. Like, he could just, like, whoo! And then just, like, be fine. He can jump up, he can jump down, and he can just be okay. And Clary can create new runes. Like, they're superhero shadow hunters. Not only are they shadow hunters, they're superhero shadow hunters. Like, oh, I love it. It's great. Back to Jace and Alec. I just was terrified in the moment that, like, Jace was gonna say, like, look, I know you want to do what's best for me, but I already did what's best for you. Like, you gotta listen to me on this one. But when he told Alec what happened, Alec was like, so how did he react when you turned him down? And the fact that he just knew. Like, my voice is changing because, like, I'm just welling up with emotion. Like, the fact that he knew, that Alec knew that Jace had turned him down, and then later when Luke says the same thing, and Jace is like, I hate being so predictable, but, like, it's so good because people can see his heart. They can see that he would never do that, and they know who he really is, and I think that might be my favorite, like, line in this entire book is, like, when Luke and Alec both say, so what did he say when you turned him down? And I love it. I love Jace. I'm gonna talk about the ending later. You know what? I'm gonna hold that off till later. We'll talk about the ending later. But for now, we can talk about Jace's biggest fears were literally something happening to Clary, something happening to Alec and Isabel, like, that Valentine had his friends, that Valentine was going to use his friends against him, that they were already dead, that everything was going to go wrong, and they weren't going to actually complete their mission. And Jace is so pure at heart, and I love him, and I love that they figured out that Clary could do the rune to explode the ship, and that they all made it safely into the truck, and everyone made it out, that, like, except obviously some of the shadow hunters died when they were fighting on the ship, and that was sad, but it was shadow hunters that we didn't really know anything about, so they died for the cause. I'm glad that all of my babies lived, especially just, you know, Simon popping up and just being like, I'm fine, like, all of it. I just loved it. And then Maya, she's a cutie. We don't really know much about her, but I'm glad she lived. She seems like a great person. I hope we get to know a little bit more about her. She's great. That's just that whole, the Valentine, I hate him, but I love that Jace turned him down. I love what they did with Jace in this book, with him kind of, like, learning new things about who he is and like finally like being able to like solidify his place. And at the end where he's like packing up his stuff and the mayoress comes in and tells him to stop packing, like this is his home, and then he just kind of like lets the bag fall and his stuff like fall and like he's gonna stay there. And then she starts singing him the song that he brought up earlier, and she says like, I did sing this to you, you just never heard me. Like I love that he finally, like Jace finally has that moment where he realizes like, yes, like this really is his family. So that's enough about Jace's plotline, but oh my gosh, I loved it. So good. Moving on. Okay, so this is getting long, so I'm gonna wrap it up with my thoughts on Clary. But quickly before I talk about Clary, I love Isabel and I love Magnus and I love Alec. I talked about Alec a little bit in the Jace bit, but I love them. I think they're great supporting characters. I love Isabel and Alec's siblingness. It's just great. Their rivalry, but also their love for each other. Like it's great. I love seeing them interact. Everything about Isabel is hilarious and I love her. Magnus is great. I love the Magnus moment where he's like, why do I help you guys? Like, why do you think I keep coming out to help you? Like, there's other people you could call. And then Jason's like, yeah, well, no other warlocks are dating our friends. And I was like, oh, call him out. Like, everyone else realizes what's happening. They refuse to acknowledge it because Magnus is like very kind and conscious of Alec's feelings, and it's great. So I love them. I will talk about them more in the comment section if you want, but for now, I'm gonna move on to Clary. So, Clary. I talked about her throughout this whole thing because she's just interwoven with everyone, you know? But I really like her self-realization moments throughout this book when she's like, throughout the whole time, she's trying to do what's best for everyone else. And then when she kind of realizes like, but this is what I want. Like, this is for me. Like, she needs that. Like, Clary needs more moments where she says, this is for me. Like, I gotta do this for me. And I think there's gonna be a lot more of that in the next book because at the end, they're setting up this like creepy hooded lady. Like, I know how to wake up your mom. Gotta go to the city. Terrified Clary is gonna make some stupid decisions, but you know, that's novels for you. Characters make stupid decisions and we suffer for them. But I'm really excited to see Clary kind of come into her own more with the runes. She like gets that feel for like, maybe I am part of this world like more than people think I am, because everyone's always looking down on her like, you didn't get any training, like let Jason Alec deal with it, let Magnus deal with it. But no, like Clary has skills that they don't have, and she can create these new runes, like the one that blew open Jace's cell, the fearless rune, oh my gosh, that was crazy, the effects that had. Whoa. So like Clary is so much more powerful than anyone gives her credit for. And again, I really like Clary and Luke. Their father-daughter bonding is beautiful. I love that she basically calls him her father figure now, and she says that multiple times. She's like, you are my father figure. Like, whenever she's talking to Valentine, she's like, you're not my father, Luke's my father. And like, okay, we're just gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about the scene at the end where Luke and Clary are in the car, and he's like, where do you want to go? And she's like, we're going to the hospital. Like, I'll just go to the hospital with you. And they're talking, and Clary brings up, like, Valentine said something about you loving my mom. And they just start talking about it, and Luke's like, okay, let me tell you the story. And he does love her, and he's scared that she doesn't love him back. And so Clary's like, well, have you asked her? Like, she said that she's in love with someone, and I doubt that it's Valentine. Like, she's not dating because she's in love with someone. Like, you need to just talk to her about it. Like, you need to get your feelings out there. Like, tell her that you love her. And Luke's like, you're right. Like, it's better that they know. Like, because no matter what happens, it's better to know. And then Clary in that moment just goes, stop. Take me to the Institute. And my heart, you can hear it in my voice, went, yes, sword, boom, it's gonna happen. She's gonna tell Jace how she feels, and they're gonna talk about it, and they're gonna work it out, and it's gonna be great, and it's gonna be wonderful. They're gonna go through the rest of life together, and then no, they're not, because Jace is stupid. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about how stupid Jace is, because they get to the restaurant, because Clary goes frantically to the door. Jace is already there. She's like, oh, hi, I was here to talk to you actually, like, let's, and then Jace is like, okay, cool, like, let's go talk, and I'm like, why are you so nonchalant? It's Clary, like, be excited. And then they go, and they talk, and they're just talking, and then she's like, okay, time to bring this up. Jace, I need to tell you something, and he's like, wait, no, let me go first, and Clary's like, you don't understand, and he's like, no, I understand. I want to respect your decision. I will be your brother from now on, and we should think about what everyone else thinks. We shouldn't be selfish. And my heart sunk at the same time as Clary's did, because Clary's just goes like, oh, like he doesn't get it. But maybe this is what he wants now. Clearly not realizing that he's just saying that because he thinks that's what she wants and he doesn't want to hear it come from her. Like, he doesn't want to hear from her this, like, finite, like, we can't be together and I just came here to tell you that. Why would she have done that, by the way? Like, what in Jace's head was telling him, like, Clary came here because she wants to reaffirm the whole brother-sister thing? Did she look like she wanted to reaffirm the whole brother-sister thing? No, she didn't. Not at all. Clary came there to tell you she's in love with you. But Jace doesn't see that. So we get that mess of a scene where he just talks and Clary just sits there and then goes, yeah, that's what I want. Even though it's clearly not. Because that's the reason she can never be happy with Simon, because she's not happy with Simon. She's happy with Jace, and she's never gonna be happy with anyone else, and I don't want her to be happy with anyone else. I want her to be happy with Jace, and he's happy with her, and she's happy with him, but they can't talk about it because one of them says something stupid every time they talk about it. So those are my feelings. Those are my feelings. I have a lot of them. You can tell what I'm most heated about. I really liked the plot of this book. I touched on it in key things. The characters are really what drive this story, which I really like, but the plot is also great. Like, the plot drives the story as well. And there's a lot of things that I know I forgot to talk about because that happens. This isn't scripted, by the way. I know some booktubers, like, script their book talks. They'll have, like, a checkpoint, like, I want to talk about this, this, and this. And you know what? That's probably smart. I don't script mine. I kind of just start ranting at the camera. In between takes, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna talk about this, and then see what happens from there, because you know what, guys? These are my genuine feelings. What you're seeing is me actually just ranting at a camera, and I hope that's entertaining, because this is pure whatever my thoughts are just coming out at you. None of this is filtered. So those are my overall thoughts on City of Ashes, or, you know, City of Clary Doesn't Want to Hurt Simon's Feelings. Those are my overall thoughts and emotions and rantings about this book. I know there's a ton of plot points I missed on. If I forgot to talk about something that you're really passionate about, let's talk about it in the comments. I would love to have a conversation with you guys. I will respond to all of my comments. That is a promise to you guys. So let's talk. Let's get down to business on this book, on the first two books in this series. I'm starting City of Glass today or tomorrow, and then we'll be able to talk about that too. There'll be another book talk up soon. So if you guys want to see more from me, subscribe to the channel, go watch the City of Bones book talk. I also have a quarantine reading list video. I'm just getting started here on BookTube, but if you're here in the future and you're just watching my old videos, then hopefully there's tons of videos for you to watch. I'm predicting the future and I have faith in myself. But for the current time being, I have 3 videos on my channel. Go ahead and watch those, give it a like, subscribe, and let's get to know each other in the comments. Bye guys, see you next time.